culminate the thoughts of Lord Krishna, which is initiated in the beginning. And yesterday we have seen that in our life we lead and we perform our actions as per our likes and dislikes, and mind cannot remain without attached to anything. Mind means something is there in the consciousness, and the consciousness, when attached to any objects, takes the form of the mind. So that is there, but in order to reach our final destinations, that is the formless, nameless, and the entity, this is the real true nature of our own self, and for which we have been born as a human being. So these are the hindrances. How to overcome all these hindrances? And we have seen that how we convert our action, our karma into karma yoga, so that the main hindrance to just purification of our vasana will happen, and then we proceed in our journey of final goal at the supreme beings and blissful self. So the Lord, after having explained all these things, the tyranny of the likes and dislikes, attachment and aversions, that we have to just perform our duty. And duty must be determined by our natural tendency, natural mental temperament, which is decided by our vasanas. So now, how to just purify our mind by performing our duties, and that things is now explained in the following this verse number 35.
Shreyan swadharmo vigunaha
Shreyan swadharmo vigunaha
paradharma swanushthitat swadharme nidhanam shreyaha paradharmo
the method. Earlier also Lord explained in this second chapter also, that the better for one person to perform his own swadharma, his own duty, rather than to perform the someone else's duty, and that he may discharge very well. But it said, swadharme nidhanam shreya. Shreyam swadharmo viguna. Though my duty is devoid of merits, many good things may not be there, but really I can enjoy, I have a job satisfaction only when I perform as per my swadharma. And others' dharmas, though you can adopt by seeing them, because something very lucrative, very tempting, other persons seeing, and always we see anything better, and this grass always green on other side. So by doing like that, we may perform, we may adopt, but at the net result is that we will not have total satisfactions in performing that duty. So we have to discover what is our spontaneous nature. How to discover it? it is quite natural. Some parents nowadays, they force their wards and their children to adopt certain things. Why? Because they couldn't do in their life, so they wanted to fulfill their desire through children. But it is very difficult. And I have seen many places. Once I was in Dehradun, I visited one of our devotee's house, retired chief engineer from PWD department, and just we were discussing and talking on the dining table. I said, what is your son is doing? What your son has done? He said that he is now IIT from Kharagpur. And what is doing? Then he said that now he has opened the music studio in Chennai. I said, what happened? IIT passed from Kharagpur and started music studio in Chennai. What happened? No, Swamiji, actually I was engineer. I wanted that my son should also be engineer, and he got admissions also. I said, it is very bad because your son now did this IIT and just one person lost the chance. And now after that, having done all these things, he has opened music studio and he is enjoying because his Swadharma is like that. And now he is enjoying and he is earning more than any IIT engineer through the music studio here. So that we have to discover. And right from the childhood, you can see the tendency in your children that what they want to do. What they want to do. Some child you see that they started doing some opening the toys, breaking and joining them and this thing. So now their mind is now mechanical mind, it's like that. Some is doing some these meditation, some doing something, some always just driving. That's this. So that tendency we have to discover, and it can be discovered only when we just work on the mind, not by the mind. We have to work on the mind so that we can just come to know what is the real inherent just test in our life. That's working on the mind is like that. If you go morning walks, have jogging and exercise, pranayam. If somebody asks what you will get all this doing, you say nothing. But it is working on the health. Physically you won't get, but you get better health. So working on the health. Similarly, working on the mind. We have to understand our inherent interest. And when we study our scriptures, and scriptures is the mirror. And when you study, you will come to know what is your mind. Because whenever you go in front of mirror, what you will see? You will see your own image. In the same way, therefore, in our culture, beginning Gurukulam systems, all these our children used to go Gurukul and they study scripture so that they would discover their inherent nature. And accordingly, then they adopt the professions and in their life. And then they would excel in them. They may not have good results, but while performing their duties, they will enjoy. They will not wait for the results to be enjoyed. That is the real Swadharma. There are a lot of implications of these dharmas. Is there our own duties, dharma, good conduct also called dharma, and righteous living also called dharma. And we have seen that the real nature of being something, that is also dharma. Because of that, the thing is existing. Like this heat and the light is the dharma of the fire. Because if you remove the heat and the light from the fire becomes non-existent. That is also called a dharma. Paramdharma. Everything has got. The thing is being the being, existing. So there are a lot of, but here in this context we have to take as per our vasana, whatever our real keen interest, wherein we enjoy our work itself, that is our swadharma. Oh Arjuna, I know right from the beginning, you have got the fighting mentality. You have been born as a king, as a prince. But because of this emotional breakdown temporarily, because not evaluating situation properly, you just running away from your swadharma. And you will not success. So just remove all these delusions and just perform your dharma. And he has performed afterwards. And now he got the victory. And he enjoyed this everything. So that is there that we have to just discover our dharma. And through study of scriptures, we can discover slowly, and we perform. After having heard all these things, now Arjuna also thinking and just along with the Lord. So now he changed. Because he is also thinking, thought development is taking place in his mind. So he just started inquiring something that, oh Lord, yes, we want to do all good things, righteous things in our life. And we heard so many good things from great masters and study also. But when the time comes to perform the good deeds, we stop and we perform the bad deeds. So how it happens? Whatever we decide, why we can't able to do the same thing? We talk many things, but hardly we just follow whatever we have talked in our actions. Who prevents us not doing good things? So that question is raised by Arjuna, but this question is in everyone's mind also. So now next, the section starts with Arjuna's question. Now the verse number 36.
Arjuna Vacha Atakena Prayuktoyam Papam charati purushah Anichannapi vashneya Baladiva niyojitah.
Whatever appeared in Arjuna's mind, and he just as it is just expressed in front of the Lord. That personality is called Arjuna. Arjuna is a very simple, straightforward person. And then he asked that, oh Lord, what is that which compels and the person to do the sinful activities without his desire, though he may not wish to do, but some force is there inside everyone's mind. That force compels, totally just propels us to do this against the moral, against the righteousness. What is that? Baladiya niyojita hai. Just by force, employ the person into these immoral, unethical activities. What is that? What is that? The nature of that devil that inside that always troubling us, this is that. Therefore, always we want happiness. Because this wants itself covers the real nature of the happiness. Therefore, one lady came to Gautam Buddha and asked, "Oh Lord Buddha, just I want happiness." Buddha says, remove I, which is ego. Remove want, which is desire. Now you are left with only with happiness. I want. This is the problem. Because when I want, that immediately want means something other than me. And immediately I just away from our own real blissful beings. Extrovertedness. That is the problem. Desire means only outside. That's it. So we are away from our real blissful beings. Then naturally, we cannot, because outside there is no eternal bliss. The nature of object is not the bliss. It may be momentary pleasure. Therefore, I remember Gurudev's quotation. He would say, we are having powerhouse in us, but always we live in power failure. Always power failure. We aspire, we just desire for everything. So now, what is that devil inside those who prevents us, stops us invariably doing the bad things? What is the good things? So now the Lord giving the answer. Next, 37.